The meningeal layers are the layers which covers the brain and spinal cord. So the three meningeal layers, the outermost layer is Duramater, the middle layer is Archanoid matter, and inner layer is Pia matter. So the Dura matter is very strong and tough. It is a protective nature, and it is mainly a connective tissue. So usually the outer protective layer, the Dura matter, it is rough and tough. So the middle layer is the Archanoid matter. It is a spider-like and multiple connective tissue. It is connected to the close with the Pia matter. The internal layer is the Pia matter, which is very thin and soft nature, and it is highly vascular. So coming to the first layer, the Dura matter, it is outer layer. It is a strong and tough, usually which covers the brain and spinal cord. So this Dura matter has two layers. One is outer endosteal layer and inner layer meningeal. So the endosteal layer is close related with the cranial bones, and the meningeal layer which is close related with the brain organ. So both are adherent to each other. They are very close adherent with each other, except where the dural venous sinuses are present. The dural venous sinuses are present in between these two layers. The inner layer is reduplicated and to form the dural folds at the foramina magnum. This meningeal layer of the dura mater is continuous with the spinal dura mater. So the branches of the middle meningeal artery and accompanying veins ascends on the external surface of the endosteal layers in the extradural space. So usually the dura mater has the three important folds. Totally there will be four folds by an reduplication of its inner layer. So the first fold is falx cerebri, and second one is tentorium cerebelli, third one is diaphragm cellae, and fourth falx cerebelli. So these folds help in stabilizing the brain during the movements of the head. So these are the very important in related to the brain portion. So coming to the one by one of these folds, the falx cerebri. So it is sickle shaped fold that forms a vertical partition between the two cerebral hemispheres, that is in between right and left cerebral hemispheres. It is anteriorly attached to the frontal bone and crista galli of the ethmoid bone, then superiorly to the midline of the cranium and back up to the internal occipital protuberance, and inferiorly it is free margin, but anteriorly it is free and posteriorly attached to the another fold of the dura mater, that is tentorium cerebelli. So in these three folds there are the venous sinuses. So inside of this falx cerebri, usually number one, superior sagittal sinus, then inferior sagittal sinus, and straight sinus. The superior sagittal sinus at the superior margin of the falx cerebri, the inferior sagittal sinus at the inferior margin of the falx cerebri, then straight sinus that lies at the connection of falx cerebri attached to the tentorium cerebelli. So these are the three important sinus in related to the dural folds of that falx cerebri. Then second fold, the tentorium cerebelli. This tentorium cerebelli, it is a tent-shaped fold of the dura mater which roofs the posterior cranial fossa. It forms a partition between the cerebellar lobes and occipital lobe of cerebrum. So this attachment margin contains the three venous sinuses here also, the superior petrosal sinus, the transverse sinus, and the straight sinus. So the three venous sinuses which are main related to the fold of this tentorium cerebelli. See, now this is the fold of the Duramater. So this is falx cerebri, sickle shape. So this is the superior margin. So this is the inferior margin, and this is the anterior portion which is attached to the crista galli, and posteriorly it is related to the external occipital protuberance. So below here the attachment tent like a fold. So this tent like a fold is called as tentorium cerebelli, that separates the cerebrum and cerebellum. So this is the fold, and this one is the another fold that is called as the diaphragm sellae, that is the base of the brain. Then another one fold that is comes in this occipital region, so that will be attached to the cerebellum, that is falx cerebelli. So these are the main four folds: falx cerebri, tentorium cerebelli, diaphragm sellae, and the falx cerebelli. So these four folds mainly helps for the attachment.